Environment, discuss the evaluation of environment as a concern of international politics. What are the guiding principles at environmental negotiations? Discuss the North-South debate on environment. Explain India's negotiating strategy and stand at climate change. Discuss politics of climate change negotiations. What are the major coalitions in climate change negotiations? What are their positions? Positions of United States of America, China, European Union. Environment and its evolution. Environment has not been a concern of international relations until 1970s. Concern for the environment and bringing environmental issues at the level of United Nations has been the work of civil society groups. Modern environmental movement in West started in 1960s with the publication of Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, which highlighted the negative impact of pesticides on the human health. First United Nations Conference on Environment took place in Stockholm in 1972. Significance of 1972 United Nations Conference. It led to the basic principles of environmental negotiations. India played active role in evolutionary of these principles. Stockholm principles are pro-South. Fundamental principles. Acknowledgement of relationship between environment and development. For any effort to stop environmental degradation, poverty and underdevelopment has to be addressed. Protection of environment is a collective responsibility, but the responsibility of the North and South differ. Priority of South is development. Responsibility of North is to support South in addressing poverty and underdevelopment. Without support of North, it is not possible for the South to take any meaningful actions towards environment. Thus, the concept of differentiated and historical responsibility and the principle of equity became the guiding principles in such negotiations. These two principles continue to be India's approach in all such negotiations where a developed countries want dilution of these principles. In Stockholm, United Nations Environment Programme, the first UN body dealing with environment with headquarters outside North, had come into existence. United Nations Environmental Programme. Coming to the United Nations Environment Programme, it is the highest United Nations body to coordinate United Nations-led activities in the environment. In 1992, at Rio Summit, it has been made implementing agency for global environment and facility created at World Bank. At Rio Plus 20 Summit in 2012, some structural changes have happened. Now all United Nations members are in its governing body. Provision is made for stable, secure and enhanced budget for this body out of the regular United Nations budget. Next development on environment. In 1983, United Nations Commission on Environment and Development was published, which is popularly known as Brundtland Commission, as a follow-up measure at Stockholm Conference. The Commission published report titled Our Common Future. Highlights of the Our Common Future report. Development is a priority of South. South does not have the liberty or option to pursue the same model of development which North has pursued until now. In this context emerged the idea of sustainable development. What is sustainable development? Development that does not compromise the ability of future generations to develop. Coming to developing countries do not have knowledge and resources, and in this context, North has historical responsibility. Third major development, Rio Summit. Officially, United Nations Summit on Environment and Development, popularly known as Earth Summit. The purpose is to take up follow-up actions on the basis of recommendation of Brundtland Commission. Outcomes of the Rio Summit. Rio Principles, precautionary principle. Even in the absence of universally acceptable and verifiable scientific evidence, effort of international community should not be postponed. Polluter pays principle. Coming to the Agenda 21. Agenda 21 is a set of strategies based on following philosophy. One of the philosophy of Agenda 21 is interlinkage between development and democracy. Another philosophy of Agenda 21 is grassroots participation. Another philosophy of Agenda 21 is multi-stakeholders approach has to be adopted. Government, corporate section, civil society have to work together. Bottom-up approach in planning sustainable development.